Sky 7 over the scene of what police are now calling a double homicide.
For the first time, California Governor Gavin Newsom has publicly acknowledged that he is open to a run for the White House.
In L.A., homelessness has jumped 16% in a year. Half of Americans living on the streets are in California.
Woo, boy. Gavin Newsom, he thinks he's Barack Hussein Obama, but he's actually Hillary Clinton, and he's due for a very serious reality check. And I mean serious. He's been strutting around the country like he's the answer to the Democrats' prayers. Smooth talking, perfectly coiffed savior who's going to just glide into 2028 and take back the White House. He's got his hair gel in one hand. He's got his talking points in the other. But let's just cut through the nonsense right now. This guy is not the next Barack Obama. He is the next Hillary Clinton. And if the Democrats keep pretending otherwise, they're headed for another election night funeral, just like 2016.
The scene here is so different than it was a few hours ago when people were happy and relaxed.
Now let's remember why Obama actually pulled it off in 2008. He came out of virtually nowhere. A fresh face, a blank slate. Americans could look at him and project every hope, every dream, every yes we can, si se puede fantasy that they wanted. Sure, he had a radical past, launched his state Senate bid in Bill Ayers' living room, whether underground Bill Ayers, terrorist organization.
Bill Ayers founded the terrorist group known as the Weather Underground. Years later, Obama worked with him in two nonprofit organizations, but insists they were never close.
But the media buried it 6 feet under, and John McCain got cold feet the second the race card came out. Obama was new, he was different, and being half black at that exact moment in history was like winning the cultural lottery. The country, many people, wanted the fairy tale, and the press sold it hard, and it worked. Hillary, total opposite. I mean, she had been on your television screen for 30 years, oversaturated. Dynasty fatigue was through the roof. Nobody wanted Bill Clinton's sequel with worse acting. She wasn't likable. She came off entitled, scripted, and ice cold. She had decades of scandals, Benghazi, deleted emails, the foundation grift, smearing her husband's victims. Voters were tired. They looked at her and they said, we have had enough of this. And they rejected her. Ladies and gentlemen, Gavin Newsom is the male Hillary Clinton. Desperate, power-hungry, soaked in that same coastal elite arrogance. A career politician who's never done an honest day's work outside of the San Francisco political machine. And his wife, Jennifer Siebel Newsom, makes him look moderate. She's pushing radical gender nonsense. She's lecturing normal parents about toxic boys, taking them on tours of the South to show them the zoo that is the rednecks, Republican voters. And she, acts like every Hollywood elitist who thinks they're smarter than you. But here's the fatal error. The one that's going to bury him just like it buried Hillary. Newsom couldn't sit still. While he's still governor of California, he's been running for president for the last year, even 2 years. He didn't lay low. He didn't fix his mess at home. He got way over his skis. He went full national, and he turned himself into background noise that Americans cannot mute fast enough. He took your tax dollars, Californians, up to 19 million of them, and he handed them to a fancy New York PR firm to run a national propaganda campaign rebranding his failing state. That's right. Californians are paying for Gavin's future campaign commercials. He did the podcast tour, brought on heavy hitters, embarrassed himself with every appearance, and watched it all tank. He's overexposed. America is exhausted by him already. The more Gavin Newsom talks, the more people think, if this is what California looks like after him, spare us. And now comes the best part, the pure, unadulterated projection that would make Hillary blush. Newsom cannot stop attacking Donald Trump on the very things he himself has failed at spectacularly. Take his latest pathetic photo op. Have you seen this? This guy posts a picture of himself supposedly balancing his final budget. There he is, sitting pretty in Sacramento, proudly holding up a highlighter like he just cured cancer. A highlighter, folks, not a red pen to slash the waist, not a black marker to kill the sacred cow programs, a bright, cheerful yellow highlighter. Genital mutilation for kids, highlight, great. Highlighter Gavin strikes again. The man is literally out there highlighting his own failures and doubling down on them for the whole world to see. He's circling the disasters, underlining the deficits, and shining a happy little glow on 4 straight years of massive red ink and failure, like a teacher grading her own failing test and giving herself a gold star anyway. What California desperately needs, of course, is a red pen, red ink, bold slashes, crossing out the nonsense, firing the consultants, and actually changing course. But no, Gavin grabs the highlighter and he says, look how balanced this looks if you squint and ignore reality. Highlighter Gavin. That's what we should call him from now on. The man who has racked up a nearly $350 billion spending plan that pretends to balance someday while the state keeps hemorrhaging people and businesses and sanity. He's out here celebrating with school supplies while tent cities bloom like flowers after rain and the middle class packs up the U-Haul. It's delusional performance art for the TikTok age. Remember the French Laundry fiasco? Back when he was locking everyone else down, telling families they couldn't gather for Thanksgiving. Gavin was caught maskless indoors at one of the most expensive restaurants in the country, dining with a dozen lobbyist friends. Rules for thee, but not for me. And that moment told you everything you needed to know about the man, elite hypocrisy, and a $1,000 suit. Newsom's out there mocking Trump for fixing the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool. Calls it waste. Meanwhile, California has blown more than $15 billion, and the latest estimates say it could balloon all the way to $231 billion on the famous train to nowhere. 16 years, 0 miles of operational track between the cities it was supposed to serve. He even put his homelessness guy in charge of the rail project now. That's like putting the arsonist in charge of the fire department. Newsom sued Trump to keep the federal money flowing, and then what did he do? He quietly dropped the lawsuit when reality slapped him. But he's still out there lecturing everybody else about infrastructure. The sheer gall. He attacks Trump on building. Let's talk about building under highlighter Gavin. He promised 3.5 million new homes. He's delivered a pathetic fraction. Production is stuck. Prices are ridiculous. Cities laugh at his mandates. Working families can't afford a garage, let alone a house, so they flee to red states where governors actually get things done. And the businesses, they're voting with their feet. Tesla left, Chevron left, Oracle, you've heard it, Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, Palantir, In-N-Out Burger. The list goes on and on and on. Hundreds of companies have pulled up stakes, taking thousands of jobs with them. California isn't losing small businesses. It's losing the engines of the economy because the taxes are crushing. The regulations are insane, and the crime and homelessness make it impossible to operate. Tens of billions spent on homelessness, including billions turning hotels into housing. And the tents are still the official welcome mat for San Francisco and Los Angeles. He can't keep the lights on without brownouts. He can't build on time or on budget. He can't stop the corporate exodus. Yet he flies around this country wagging his little finger at Trump for the exact disasters he's perfected in California. This is Hillary Clinton level projection, only with better hair and worse results. Attacking your opponent for your own signature failures, and then he expects people not to notice? It didn't work for Hillary, and it's not going to work for highlighter Gavin. Newsom isn't some bold visionary. He's a disaster in designer shoes. He had one job. Govern California. Instead, he turned the whole state into a glittering launch pad for his ego trip. And he's left it bleeding. He's oversaturated. He's unlikable. There's a mountain of policy wreckage, elite condescension wrapped in, slick packaging. So The country rejected this brand in 2016. Americans don't want the lectures. They don't want the excuses. They don't want another career politician who treats your wallet like Newsom's personal campaign fund. Newsom should have shut up, should have stayed home, should have rolled up his sleeves and actually fixed the mess he created. He couldn't do it. The spotlight was too tempting. Now, the reality check is coming. And just like Hillary, the American people are going to deliver it loud, clear, and final. Highlighter Gavin isn't presidential material. He's exactly what he looks like in that photo. All surface shine, yellow glow on failure, no real cuts, and headed straight for the political trash heap. This is Drew Allen with a Daily Signal. Loud, clear, and final. Highlighter Gavin isn't presidential material. He's exactly what he looks like in that photo. All surface shine, yellow glow on failure, no real cuts, and headed straight for the political trash heap. This is Drew Allen with a Daily Signal.